Hi, I'm Kent Kincannon. We're here at Sundance 2019. At the Adobe House. I edited the feature film Before You Know It, and it stars Alec Baldwin, Mandy Patinkin, Judith Light, and Mike Holter, and some other great folks, including Hannah Pearl Utt, who's the writer director star. So the movie's about two grown sisters who never quite grew up, who live with their father, Mandy Patinkin, in a building in New York where they have a theater on the bottom floor, and then they live in this big bohemian palace. And the movie's kind of about people needing to get their shit together, and some people getting it together. But through a family tragedy, they find out their mom is not dead; she's alive, and she's been on a soap opera their whole lives. And they got to decide whether they're gonna love her, I guess. I had worked with Hannah a couple of years ago. She had a short that she just really just wanted to play with, and I kind of played with it with her, and like it wasn't really my kind of thing. It was like a vibe, 15-minute short, but like it was fun to work with her on it because there was a lot of things going on. So we met on that, and then 2 years later, she's shooting her film and finds out she can do the offline in LA and calls me, and I agreed to do it. A few weeks after that, we started editing. This is kind of the trickiest edit I've ever had because they had already started everything in New York. The assistant was in New York, and she was assembling a rough cut as they were shooting. So when I started, I had a 2 hour and 10 minute rough cut of the whole film and so I had watched everything and like come in there as prepared as I could have been. But like the movie is really dense and like in dramatic ways. There's a lot of tricky psychology going on between people that I don't necessarily understand on all levels. Hannah's really good with like Hannah's really good at motivations behind people's actions, where I take a lot of face value. So it was really interesting, like learning what was going on in the movie from Hannah, who it just like comes out of. Because we're very different people, but we get along really well. It almost never would she'd just be like, yeah, that probably needs to be paced up, right? And I was like, yeah, I was thinking the same thing. We almost always had the same idea of what it should be. Although she had another level that I wasn't always privy to. But like in terms of mechanics, it was really smooth. They shot the whole movie in New York, and then she came right back to LA where she lives, and we worked for 3 months on it there. And then she did all the rest of the post back in New York. And that was another, I really hated not being there for all the stuff, but it was like weeks of like hotel rooms and stuff that I, just couldn't do. So I haven't actually seen the final mix or the final soundtrack. And I'm really excited because those like jobs actually changed. I'm so surprised so often like how much an episode changes I've only done 2 movies, but episodes like of TV shows that are, that was fine, but then boom, it's like it's a TV show all of a sudden, out of just cleaning things up and sharpening all the pieces. This film does move between dramatic and comedy, but it's really like within the scenes, within a dramatic scene. It's more just like quirky, fun moments. Rather than like people falling downstairs or dirty jokes or something. It's so they're also subtle. It's kind of the same moment, but you do have to like recognize when people are gonna laugh, and like we had to take jokes out of moments that were just too serious to. You're like we don't need this outburst. It's just taken away from the underlying she's mad or. So it was tricky because like we took out some really funny stuff because it didn't belong in the sad moment, but there's enough to keep people pepped up. I think we'll be all right. Like the whole turn in the movie kind of happens. There's a big event, and it's just like a whole big string of scenes that like always worked on their own, or like we were always tweaking them on their own, but it like never quite gelled as like. This is the perfect to get everybody where they need to be for the ending, and like it was so frustrating to be like so close to it every time and like, no, this isn't quite, because there's a scene we had to put in the middle here and we are just moving it around. Like, so yeah, that like, it's so funny how just the smallest tweak though, then the last couple of days we figured it out and then like watched it and we were like, yeah, that's perfect. And like, we'd never felt that way before and it was the last day, but it was perfect. So we did it. I don't know. It was really, yeah, it felt crazy to just walk away from it and then never be able to change it. But I think we did right. I really enjoy working on Premiere. It's such a, if you don't know how to do something, you just kind of like reach out and it's kind of there. It's a funny like, or you Google it. But like where with some other software, it's like, how do I even Google what I'm trying to do? It's a little easier. They use, so anyway, but that's not, I'm not Googling that stuff anymore so much. Do what you want here. But so yeah, I really do enjoy Premiere though, because you don't have to like bump out of the program to After Effects to do a smooth cam that you rely on. Although, yeah, but like tracking, that stuff's all been integrated so much, and it's just so quick. I used to work at this website, College Humor, and we would have to do color and sound mixes and finalize everything. And I would only do that with Premiere, just because all that stuff's robust enough to not need another program. But it's really fun if you have a bare bones crew in post to just work in Premiere, because you can do everything and it's not a real, yeah, I just had a great time. This is my boilerplate advice, is just do stuff for free for people who are good. And it's like a tricky thing to do, because I don't know how to really tell somebody who wants to do like nature photography how to do that. I don't know anything about that. But I can say, if you want to get into editing comedy, I went to the New York Upright Citizens Brigade Theater and did a lot of improv and sketch for a few years. And then I started making videos for people, or like working with people, and then just like all of a sudden I'm working with the coolest comedians there, and those people, like a lot of them have TV shows now, and I don't know, a lot of the stuff I did for on the side while I was working full time just ended up getting me the best jobs I've ever had. And it's a really like, I don't know, it kind of sucks to have to do that, but it's sort of, that's the only way to do it, is approach talented people and say, hey, do you need an editor? And, just that kind of thing.